in this video, what I think I'm going to start on is the running boards. I'm going to go ahead and get them on the truck. And as you can see, I've already started and I've already gotten one kind of the way I want it. So I found the easiest way to do this was, it had to be widened because the fenders I widened the fenders. So front had been done 2 inches, rear had been done 4 inches. So I messed around several different ways to do it. I found this to have been the easiest way to do it. But I just basically cut it. I picked best spot I thought, which I'll probably do the same, this one the same. I cut it in half here, added 2 inches, got it tacked in and whatnot. I didn't do either of the fender ends until I had the 2 inches widened on both spots, but I done 2 inches. It took like 3 pieces I done it in, and then I come over here the same, measured it out. I don't remember what it was exactly. Cut this off to added 2 inches there. Once I had that done, the front didn't change as far as well, let me explain a little more. When I done the floor of the cab, I ended up sliding the cab back some. There was more of a gap between the bed, and I wanted to give some more room for the engine, plus a little more length in the slip joint on the steering column. So we slid it back, and they ended up needing to be shortened. Not only widened, but shortened. So I had it mounted at the front, marked the back. That gave me where the back needed to be cut off at. I got the back basically in there and done like I want. I still have to do the front on that one. But the only reason I went ahead and done the one is I was trying to get a feel for it. It's got to be done twice. Don't necessarily have to video both of them. So I figured I'd go ahead and do the one, get a feel for it. It's not completely done, as you can see. I've just got everything basically tacked in. The end's pretty well welded up, but nothing's finished. That hole there will get filled. I may possibly fill the mount holes that's on this one already, and I had built a set of running board mounts. I don't have the factory ones. I had built a set, but they're not going to work now because they've been widened, and I think they weren't going to be the greatest setup anyways. So I'm going to rebuild a set of brackets, but I wanted to get these on here and mounted to the truck somewhat where they're going to be. That way it's going to make it easier for me to do the brackets. So a few things that I'm mucking around with. The gap at the bottom of the cab doesn't necessarily seem right, but the door is also still rough at the bottom, so I don't know if that's affecting that or not. I need to come in here at the bottom of this bed. There's no bracing lower than about right in here, so that bed side has a lot of flex on the bottom side. I need to come in here and I need to get that pulled back out where it needs to be and get a brace put in behind it, so all this will actually set out here where it's supposed to be. I need to do that on both sides. Nothing's really been braced as far as fenders or anything like that. I'm going to do all that once I've basically got all the panels on the truck. But I'm just trying to get them to where I can put them back on the truck and I want to get the actual mounts made. They don't just mount to the fender, so I wouldn't suggest doing that and leaving them like that and stepping on them. But that's my plan. Now, I've just been using some scrap stuff that I've got laying around. I had thought about just completely rebuilding them all together, in a sense of cutting the back off all the way and then cutting this front edge here off all the way around, and then just remaking the whole center without the bead rolls in it and all that, just a smooth plate. But my plan with the running boards, they're not going to be perfect. They're in rough shape. This one, I think it was, yeah. This one was really bad compared to that one. That one was in better shape than this one. This one, I believe this is also the spot, that main brace behind it on the bottom side was rusted out really bad. Now, I will say, I ended up cutting the original braces off the bottom of that one. I haven't put anything brace-wise back on the bottom, so that'll help kind of hold it straight too. It may look all wonky, and it is. But like I said, they're not perfect, and I'm not going for perfect on the running boards. I don't even think I'm going to paint the running boards. My plan with the running boards has been to get them decent and then coat them with like a textured bed liner or something like that. I think I'm getting close to having more of a paint idea and what I'm going to do paint wise, but I think these will end up done in a bed liner, just because they're rough, and the bed liner will help give them a little bit of grip. Maybe they won't be so slick, because if they're painted, they're going to be a little slick. So that's my plan. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. That might completely change. Who knows? But this one is in a lot rougher shape. So the front edge is a lot rougher, not as straight. It may be tweaked in places that the other one wasn't. So it may be a complete different process for me to do this one as it was doing that one. I didn't really have any issues. The way I ended up doing it is I've done this outer seam first, the big one. I just cut it in half, laid it down on the ground, got everything lined back up as best as I could. It's not perfect, but I took like a straight edge and lined the holes up and got it as close as I could, but I knew it was going to have to be shortened and the ends were going to have to be reworked regardless. So as you can see, this piece seems like it's just a little farther back than this one, but it just could be this fender was mucked up, this thing was mucked up, so don't really know. But I done the outer one first and got it tacked in, and then I cut the back section, and I done the back section after I had the front section done. I felt if I went in here and cut both of those at once and cut that thing into 3 pieces, it was just going to make the process of trying to get everything lined back up a little harder than doing it a section at a time. That way at least I knew this section was kind of straight. That one there I think come out better than this one, but I've been dreading doing these running boards since I done the widening of the fenders. And it actually wasn't that bad. This was a hell of a lot easier than doing the fenders, being it's all basically straight metal. The fenders is all round and curved this way and that way. Those was a nightmare. Not as bad as I was expecting, but there was a lot of time put into the fenders. But like I said, I'm going to fill those holes there were what would be under the stake pockets. I'm planning on putting maybe a stake pocket on the front, on the outside, but I still want to put some type of brace in there on the inside just to help brace all that. The fender, like I said, it's just mounted to the bed side, so I mean, it's got all kinds of slop in it. But that's my plan. Now, I'm going to get me a rough estimate. I don't remember what my measurements was, but I'm going to mark it out, and then I'll get it cut in half. And I'll just cut me some 2-inch slivers. And hopefully this one will go as smooth as the other one did. I'm just worried, like I said, this one's in a lot rougher shape, so we'll see how it goes. I ended up on that one, none of my holes lined up. I thought one of them was going to line up, but none of them lined up. So I ended up putting new holes in it. What I'm probably going to do on this one, because I reused this piece off of that one, like I reused it and put it back on there and then added to it. But I may just new fresh piece on this one. I'm gonna have to drill holes in it anyways, so I doubt those will line up as well as that one. And then the front, this one does still line up on this side. It still looks good. So my plan is to put another one on this side. Those aren't there. I know they don't typically bolt like that. There's a grommet in there and all that, but I'm going to put another one in the front closer to the outer edge to help keep it level and hold it where it wants to be or needs to be on the fender. And then it'll still have the braces kicking under the frame. So trying to think if there's anything else. Now, I'm sure this curve on this fender is not the same, so that probably would have had to been somewhat redone anyways, even if we hadn't had to shorten it. But I think now I'm just rambling, so I'm going to set you up on the tripod. Excuse me. I'm going to set you up on the tripod, and I'll start getting this thing marked out. And we'll just get this one knocked out real quick. This there'll probably be more than this in the video, because this probably won't take very long. I probably have it done maybe this evening or tomorrow at the latest. Just depends on how the day goes. So let me get you set up on the tripod, and we'll try to get a bunch of stuff knocked out in this video.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. notice, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down, they wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt, they're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Then it's your chance to be ruthless.
Okay, so I think I've got it ready to where we can kind of stick it in place and see where we need to kind of trim it lengthwise and redo the rear. So the way I get the front held up, and then we'll jack the back up with the jack, and that'll kind of tell us where it needs to be. They're not gonna set very level for now, but should be about it. So now, let me get you in here. I can come in here and I can mark this, and that'll give me a reference point of where that thing needs to end, and kind of how the back there needs to be done. So I'm probably going to mess around with this a little bit and get me some lines marked and maybe a little bit of measurements done, just checking between side to side and stuff like that. And we'll move on to the next step. So I went ahead, got that end done, finished up, welded up. For the most part, it's welded up solid. Went ahead and drilled a few new holes in it and got a couple bolts popped in it for now, just with some nuts on them. I'll probably use some threaded inserts on those like I had originally planned. But I think now what I'm going to do, being that pretty much both sides are at the same point, I haven't done anything with the front section on either one. And as you can see, they're not exactly straight back in line, but they're good enough that you won't be able to tell once I've got them done. What I'll probably end up doing here is I'll probably just kind of make me a reference piece to get my fender curve, and then I'll probably have to add a little bit on this front side, so I don't know exactly what I'll end up doing here. I may actually just cut this loose and see if I can just step it out, because the line for the fender still looks pretty close. So that may be what I do. I may just trim this whole end off right here and extend it out an inch, and then we'll fill that center piece there, or half inch, whatever it is. It was just, I went every which way I could possible to get those things back best in line as I could, and that's where they're at. But that's our back seam. Once it's, now I still need to do some more body work and stuff on that fender, so that gap's not perfect. I'm going to try to leave a little bit of play in there to where when it does go into place, if I add more right there in that spot, it's not really going to affect the way it mounts. Won't be too tight fitting, I guess. I don't really know. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do now. I think now I'm going to get a plan for how I'm going to do the fronts, being that I've got to do two sides. I may figure one out, and then I'll show you my process on the next one, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're both off a little bit. This one's not as bad as the other side. That one could well, that's still about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from the fender. So yeah, we'll rework the fronts like we did the backs. And yeah, so let me get a game plan on these. I'm really hoping to get the fronts done. Once the front's done, I'm gonna pop another bolt hole in those fronts. That way there's 2 on the front. Right now, they don't want to set level. They just kind of want to droop down in the front. So once I've got them matching the front fender, I'm going to put another bolt hole in the front. They'll have 2 in the front. That way I can kind of get them setting level, or as level as I can get them. And I want to start getting a game plan for some frame mounts. I think I'd made some, but like I said, they're going to have to be redone. Everything's been widened now, so I would have had to redo them anyways. And they weren't really that strong, I don't think, anyways. I think they were going to have quite a bit of flex in them. So I think I'm just going to use some round square tubing. Not quite sure what all, but we'll get it figured out after we get this front section done. Okay, so we got this one basically completely done yesterday evening, except for filling that hole there under the old stake pocket. I'll probably do that here in just a little bit, but I was going to show you, I got my front edge done. Now, I haven't done no grinding. It's not completely done welded up. I still need to go back and hit it again in some spots, and then I'll probably have to do a little more grinding around the front edge. I'll probably have to do some more welding after I do some grinding on the front edge, is what I meant to say. But it's all pieced back together, and then I'll probably do that after I get this one done. But that's what I figured I'd do now. I went ahead and pulled it back off the truck. There was a spot left on that front fender, kind of right in here where I widened it, where it kind of come out to a point too much, so I needed to knock that in some. So I got the fender off, got it knocked in some, got me a template made, so now I can kind of have a guide to go off of to keep it kind of straight, which this one should be like that one. And as long as I continue the factory curve from this piece, I'm fine. I ended up just cutting this off here and stepped it out. I got me a piece made to go in here that matched the curve, got it tacked on, tacked this in. It was just a couple pieces. It ended up being quite a few pieces actually. So I done the rounded piece on the front side. This is a smaller piece. This is a piece. This is a piece. This is a piece. And then that's the factory piece. So I could have done that in I could have done these 2 in one, but I already had that one in there, and these 2 could have been done in one, but those were 2 scrap pieces that I had laying around that were really close, so I just made them fit into place instead of making one and bending it over, and it actually wraps around under like the front lip's supposed to. It's still long on the bottom side, so I need to trim that in. But all that'll get done once I get done doing what little bit of stuff I need to finish up on them. I'm probably going to wait until I do the actual frame mounts and get those in before I do bracing on the bottom side, because I don't necessarily know that they will end up in the same spot. I know the front ones were really close to something on the frame. I can't remember what it was. Torsion bar mount maybe. or torsion bar cross member. I think they were really close to it, so I'm wanting to maybe move them back a little bit, or something. I don't know. I may do 3 instead of 2. I may step this one back a little bit, do that one there if it works out, and I was thinking of actually maybe doing one here in the back, because I feel like even if you were to step right here, there's going to be a lot of weight on that fender. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I personally don't plan on stepping on them much, but I'm just thinking of anyone that would. But so I think that's what I'm going to work on. I'll get you set up on the tripod. This one may not be as many pieces. We'll still end up probably with a little piece here. Being that this curves this way, it's going to be really difficult to get those done into the 2 pieces into 1. So that'll probably be 2 pieces. I'll cut this the same that I did on that one. So we'll end up with a filler piece here, and then a filler piece down this side. And this piece does have a little bit of curve in it, so that's another reason I kind of done them in 2 pieces, because it's not a lot, but it's enough that if it don't look right, I might actually hit this with some fiberglass on both of them. You'll kind of see it if it's kind of wonky there. So we'll see what it looks like when we get them done. And then something else I'd realized, this one right here on this outer lip, I don't know how much, probably about that much or so. The driver's side turned out really nice, and it's really tight to the fender. This one just kind of sticks out from the fender. There's still kind of a gap here. So I might cut this back loose right here a little and add just a little on this lip just to get it brought in closer to that fender. I may not do that right now, but at some point I may do that. See how this one's really nice, kind of flows and curves around the fender there. See, you can see my gap. That's because when I done the fiberglass and filler on that, sorry, this camera is really bad about focusing, and I've just now realized that in this video. That still needs to have a little more roundness to it, so we'll see how that works out. But something else I'll say, these are not the same side to side. I know they're not the same. I can look at them and tell they're not the same, but I'm hoping they're going to be close enough that unless you just really, really look at them, you're not going to tell it, and you can't look at both sides at once. So, that falls back to like I've said, nothing's going to be perfect on the truck. Everything was in such rough shape that it's not going to happen, and I'm not going to put that much time into it. I've already put more time into it probably than I should have, but that's just me. So I'm going to quit rambling, and we're going to get this knocked out. Terrible YouTuber, because I did not hit record. So the time lapse of me doing the front end and getting it mounted on the truck, wasn't a time lapse. It was a nothing. So I got it done. Went ahead and put it on here just to see how it lined up. Now, I haven't put the second hole in either side yet. I'll get that done at some point, probably here in a little bit. What I think I'm going to do now, though, I actually think I'm going to back it out of the garage. It's been a while since I've seen it with both the running boards on it. I'm going to back it out and get a good look at it. But the weather turned kind of crappy. Started raining a little bit, so I just turned it around and got it back inside. I think I'm pretty happy with the running boards. I've looked at them over pretty good on both sides. If I'm not mistaken, one of these fenders, I had moved one of them up, and I think it was one on the driver's side. This one, I think, still needs to be moved up just a tad. You can see the gap here is just a little big. But I don't know what I'll do in that area, because to me, it's almost I don't know. I don't know if the fenders are right or not. This gap doesn't seem right to me. So I'm going to do some messing around with that. Excuse me. Because I've had the thought of, I know there's like a rubber flap kind of that originally goes there to kind of fill that gap. I've thought about maybe adding to that at some point once everything's where it needs to be, and having that step up closer to the cab just to fill some of that gap, depending on how it looks when everything's kind of done-ish. So I may still revisit the running boards a little bit and do something with that. Not sure yet. Something I think I'm going to do, and I've been wanting to do it, I just hadn't. I think what I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to do a little work on these front fenders. I'd really like to get those things, maybe a coat of Bondo or filler over them, and then maybe shot down with a little bit of primer. I think I have plenty of body filler, and I have a little bit of primer. So that may be what I do now. Yeah, I think that might be what I do. Something I need to do at some point. I've got to get the bed back off. I need to do some body work here on both sides. I haven't done that yet. And the reason I hadn't already done that, I have sprayed it with, it doesn't look like it, but it has a really, really thin coat of some self-etching primer on it. The reason I hadn't done that is so I hadn't finished the center of the cab there where I done the floor. And since I've finished all that, I just haven't took the time to get the bed back off and do some body work here. So I want to get that done soon, hopefully. Also, yeah. But I think now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do this. I've got the stuff. And I'd like to get these front fenders kind of finished out roughly. Everything will still have to have a coat of filler put over it when we get ready to do a paint job or whatever. But I just want to get them. I'm tired of seeing that fiberglass. So let's get those looking a little better. Okay, so I think this is where I'm gonna call this a video. But running boards basically done. I do still have to fill those holes, but I need to get some more welding wire. I've got to finish welding everything up solid. Both sides, for the most part, the ends are done. I just need to finish welding up the top seams, and then I'll do that in the process on both of them also. Front fenders look a lot better. They're not perfect. Basically, this is the step I've done with everything that I've done a little bit of body work on. It's good enough. Maybe one good coat should finish it out. I've still got some work to do here to get these kind of evened up on both sides, but they're not bad. This side, I found quite a bit of Bondo, old Bondo or body filler, whatever, in this area. So I took all that out. It was kind of rough right there, so I put a thin coat back over that. This outer lip, I need to do some more work on it. As you can see right here, it's rough down in this area too. So I need to do some more work there. I knew that because of this up here. I just wasn't focused on that. I'll probably do that when I do my last coat. A couple rough spots right there. Like I said, I could have done one more coat on this fender and it would have turned out a lot better, but it should be one good coat. And I say one good coat. I do it as thin as I possibly can each time I do it. My first coat, though, I always go kind of heavy. That's just how I've always done it, in the hopes of it's just less coats that I have to do. I think it looks a lot better. I was tired of seeing that fiberglass. Now I only had one can of primer, so I'm sure you can see it's kind of sucked some of that primer up. The one can barely done both fenders, so I'll get another can. I may not even do that, may not worry about it until we do our last coat of filler and get ready to start doing some paint. But I'm happy with the running boards. Like I said earlier in this video, I've been dreading that. And it wasn't as bad as I was expecting, but it's just part of it. Excuse the shop, it's a mess. I'll probably take tomorrow, I'll probably start off by trying to get the shop blowed out, get a bunch of this dust down of here. Everything is coated in a layer of dust. But yeah, I want to say I really appreciate everybody that's been watching and subscribing. Our subscribers are jumping quite quick, I feel like, here and there. So I just want to say I really appreciate it, everybody. I'm really pushing myself to try and get out as much content as I can here lately. Waiting on stuff and trying to get an idea of what I want to do with lights and just it's getting to the small stuff. In the next one, I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna work on. I think I may try to do inside door handles. There's some other small stuff I'd like to take care of. May finish off the running boards, not quite sure. I don't really know what all we'll tackle in the next video, but as always, I just want to say thank you guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.